How are you all doing there? What's the crack? Sorry for being slightly late, but you know, same as usual, same as always. Now I'm going to request Mr. Ari Gold Esquire to come and join us to do some poetry, to read some poems together. And also stick a few poem suggestions down in them comments. Hang on. Ari, you beautiful bitch. I'm going to get you in such a headlock when I see you. Oh!
Hello, hello.
Ari, we both went for the baseball hat. We look like, for all the world, like a couple of lover truckers.
We are. We're a team.
A couple of trucker lovers.
I'm making. Are you on your detox?
No, I'm starting on Monday.
Okay, so I can raise an Aperol spritz at you, and have you not be jealous yet?
Not quite. While you're doing that, I'm gonna have an ever so slightly quick, a wee small poem lubricator.
So, 2 poems of yours you've got today, I hear.
Oh well,
Not
that I've written, but poems that my dad. Sorry, let me be in the thing. My dad regularly supplies me with poems. Essentially, you and my dad are my sources of poems. So I've got 2. Actually, one that I then forwarded to you, and the 2 of us sort of had a teary moment over.
About the battle on the fields.
Yeah, Requiem for the Croppies by Sheehan.
Yeah.
Oh!
Are you going to read any of your own poems?
I don't really. No, I'm not.
Okay.
I don't really have it. Do you have a poem for us ready to go? You've been very poem lubricated over the past 6 months.
Well, you know, lockdown is ending, so my poetry output has dropped a little bit. But yeah, I've got plenty of my own poems. We'll have to narrow down to maybe I'll have you pick a subject, and I probably have that subject because I have enough poems.
You kept yourself at a extraordinarily, I would say, almost self-punishing schedule for poems. Didn't you promise that you'd do a poem a day for quite a long time?
I did. I did not keep that up.
Oh, well, I'm sort of glad in one way, because it felt very unpoetic to...
Well, but you're writing... How many short stories have you written this year?
A
lot.
2 or 3, but I've rewritten a shit ton of the little bastards. But this year I've been writing, lots of stuff. I suppose you write whatever comes to mind, don't you?
You could share one of those if you wanted to. Putting that out there. You don't have to.
Can I read? Now, this is how insta-tarded, sorry for being on PC, I am, where I'm not sure if you can read something off Word or read something off the internet while this IGTV thing is happening. It's not going to freeze me.
I think it'll turn your screen black. I don't think it'll cut off, but it'll make your screen black. It won't be that awesome for the viewer. But
okay, right. I have a plan, because I'm in my next door neighbor Mike's house. But what I'm going to do is
ask for Mike's laptop or phone.
I am so immediately next to my gaff that all of you can take a walk with me.
Oh, nice.
And
I could walk everyone down to the beach. Those who are far from the beach, although I might lose reception, but you know.
Well,
that's
don't lose reception, but I will definitely gain reception, because I'm going to drift back into the Wi-Fi.
I could take everyone surfing.
Yeah, can you perform poems from atop a surfboard, please?
Yeah. I think that's my next money-making venture. It's surfing poet.
It's an Instagram gimmick. It could work.
I've become a real Californian, finally.
Well, yeah. Why? Why have you been in artificial California up to now?
Well, I didn't surf until recently.
Now I can see you doing that on a surfboard, and that really captured people's attention. Hello, everyone there.
Yeah, there's a lot of hellos. For those who don't know, I directed Mr. Sheehan in a movie called The Song of Sway Lake. He plays a Russian. I did see Russian written in there, so he plays
a Russian dentist. No, I didn't.
Named Nikolai. What?
I just made it. I said a Russian dentist, like a twit, which I wasn't a dentist. Here, Mike, I'll be back in a very short while, right? I'm going to drift over so that we can do this poetry thing in a classy, professional fashion. Yeah. When I go to the front door. All right, right you are. Cool, man. I'll see you very soon, right? Here we go. We're on the journey, everyone. Yeah. Oh. So anyway, Ari.
Yes.
You've been improving at the old surfing anyway.
Yeah, my surfing is getting better. I'm still officially a beginner, I think, but I can stand up on waves.
Ooh.
So, you know, if they're not too big. And I can even, I was up today before the sun came up, and there were birds and me, and then the sun came up, and then I got thrashed around a bit, and my big practice now is to remember to do this when I stand up. It's like, oh, I'm having a good time, and if I remember to relax and do this stupid, hang ten, what's up, bro, thing with my hand, that tells the rest of my body to relax, and I can surf better if I do that.
I love that. You can't just tell your body to relax. You have to do it you have to go via your shake, your
handshake.
Surfing dude left hand.
Someone's asking you to say "Hola, amo Mexico," but do you speak?
Hola, amo Mexico.
Ah.
What does that mean? I am Mexico.
Hablar español.
Or I love Mexico, is it? Te amo.
Oh, I forgot.
Te amo, Mexico.
Hello, Brookie.
I'm home.
You're home?
Yeah. I live in a shed these days.
Yeah. I was thinking of sending you a coat of arms. Sheehan coat of arms.
Oh, really?
For your home there. Before I stumbled on the idea of getting you a Seamus Haney thing. But I was trying to find something special, and I had a vision of like your fireplace and the Sheehan family arms hanging over it, but I couldn't find any that looked legit. They all
instead of two vertical lines, the Sheehan crest is two flamingos in sunglasses.
Yeah. It is a bird, though.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is it a bird? I don't even know what it is. Crikey.
I can't remember. But yeah, I think there was one bird on it.
What about the Gold or Dilworth family?
Coat of arms. I mean, I don't need a coat of arms because my last name is Gold, so it's just gold. It's just a hunk of gold.
It's the gold standard.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing. Now I'm going to set you up good and proper.
Are you getting another phone to read off of?
Yeah, I've just got my laptop here, innit?
This is very high tech. We're getting more Spanish there.
I think our poor audience there
I love you.
wouldn't have had to tolerate all the build-up. We would perhaps Rob could have thought of doing this before.
No, but this.
Seen that in York?
Oh, there he is. Hello.
Hello. So why don't you kick us off, Ari? You are you're more in a state of preparation.
Okay, so do you have a subject that you would like me to do a poem about?
pocket flat. No, a subject.
A general, you know, life, death, love, passion, internet, hope,
Well,
desire, trees, birds. You pick something.
what about desirous birds?
Okay, desirous birds.
Desirous birds.
This is called the adolescent owl. Is the owl afraid, tumbling eye over eye toward a cushion of branches, wondering how hard he's supposed to work to soar to the next ash? Or is this one hoping Ma will come, put his laziness out of its misery, drag him by one talon for one last upside down carnival ride up the zipper to the perch where he can blink at the screeches under the moon? No, maybe it's time for this adolescent owl. Flap harder. Magic when the wind lifts you up, presses your breast like an invisible hand, and flings you toward the tippy top of paradise.
Oh, that was beautiful. You broke up about 2/3 the way in through the poem for a while, but most of it that I got was...
Well, basically the owl, it's an owl. I don't know, I'm not sure what you lost, but...
Oh, nothing. No, most of it we got. I think I got.
Okay.
But it was fab.
So there you go. Right. Can I request something of you, or you have something prepared? You want to go to the Seamus Haney poem that made us cry?
Go on. What was you requesting? Since I requested something of you.
Well, I mean, as a subject, I would love for you to. Why don't you talk about death?
Death.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Say this not to be morbid, but you know, death. You know, in Buddhism, the idea that you're constantly, you know, some Buddhists will have a skull on their T-shirt or whatever, and the idea is like death, and start laughing at it, and you can say, okay, yeah, right, that's what happens.
That's what happens.
Big whoopee can become a wonderful, cheerful thing. So, death could be.
I wrote in a short, you know, which didn't quite make it, but there was a line that went something along the lines of, you'd imagine death, like all bodily functions, would be quite nice, like farting, sneezing, shitting, coming, etc. And then the character goes like, wrong, or not true, or whatever the fuck it was. But that's a point, that I genuinely think that dying is probably quite a pleasurable bodily experience. If you're passing away in a bed as opposed to getting hit in the legs by a Toyota Corolla. I'm saying, like, when the actual just I mean, the there passing away.
The recorded last words of Steve Jobs were, "Wow,
make the laptops thinner." No, sorry.
Yeah.
What was it?
Apparently it was wow, oh wow.
Wow, really? That's interesting. Sheamus Heaney, whose poem I'm about to read, which is about death, is very interesting because it's from the perspective of a dead man. It's the poem is written from the perspective of a dead guy. But what was I going to say? He texted his wife. He was at the hospital in his last moments, and she'd been there hours before she'd gone home, and he texted his wife and just said, in Latin, "Don't be afraid." And that was sort of their last correspondence. Sheamus Heaney and his wife. Wow. God bless. It's nice though, he said, "Don't be afraid," because it must have come from a place of like feeling like in a really good mood, you know, near the end. Just feeling like, oh yeah, this is great, you know. Don't be afraid of this.
Into the next realm, whatever that is.
Yeah, just getting... Oh, you honey trap of a website.
Are you looking for the Haney poem?
Here it is now.
Is it in the book?
It's not, unfortunately. I had a look, but there's some absolute crackers in there. I will. What an idiot! I'll also read maybe one or two from the lovely book, the lovely Seamus Heaney poem book that Ari got me as a gift, and he found one somewhere which Seamus Heaney had inscribed himself to his Dutch publisher or translator. Translator. And it's there, it's signed by Mr. Heaney's hand. What a nice gift. Oh, I'm going to give you such a beard massage when I see you proper. I miss you.
So you need to find the poem, or?
Oh yeah, you ready? Right, this poem is called Requiem for the Croppies. The pockets of our greatcoats full of barley, no kitchens on the run, no striking camp. We moved quick and sudden in our own country. The priest lay behind ditches with the tramp, a people hardly marching. On the hike, we found new tactics happening each day. We'd cut through reins and rider with the pike and stampede cattle into infantry, then retreat through hedges where cavalry must be thrown until, on Vinegar Hill, the final conclave, terraced thousands died, shaking scythes at cannon. The hillside blushed, soaked in our broken wave. They buried us without shroud or coffin, and in August, the barley grew up out of our grave. Remember the barley he had in his pockets?
Writes good poems. The hillside blushed, and that also, you know, that's like the blood of the soul of the Irish patriots, or the flowers that, I guess there's a certain red flower that blooms at the time of year as well. So it's like, but he manages to say both about nature,
yeah,
and death at the same time. And
Mother nature watching us being embarrassed on our behalf.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yes.
Oh, look, everyone. I've been besieged by ants. Hang on, can you see him? He's a carpenter ant. Watch this. Goodbye! I don't kill him, but sometimes you need to, you know,
where do you send him?
Lick him and take him down a peg. What?
Where do you send him?
Onto the kitchen floor. He's grand. They're indestructible. They're like little Olympic bodybuilders, little savages. But yeah, that's a beautiful poem, isn't it? It's a gorgeous little brief. I like sometimes poems, I suppose, like word memes, you know, they're sort of, when they're short and punchy, I find it difficult sometimes to really love a long form poem.
Mm-hmm.
Like very, very long, sort of. I've read this book not too long ago where William Burroughs' book called Dead Fingers Talk. And it is in fact 3 novels: The Naked Lunch, The Soft Machine, and The Ticket That Exploded. 3 William Burroughs novels, all splodged together, and even for many, many pages just cut up, like just and then like
Allen Ginsberg used to do that for him, would cut up his work and arrange it. And I think Nick himself was greatly edited by Allen Ginsberg.
wow, right, yeah.
My dad was very good friends with Ginsberg, knew Burroughs a little bit, and Burroughs invited him over for dinner, for like a poet's dinner, writer's dinner. And my dad brought my mom, who he had just met before I was born. And apparently Burroughs was not really so much a fan of women in general. And was incensed that Dad had brought his date my mother to his apartment house. And so as he was preparing the salad for the dinner guest, he, in front of everybody, urinated on the lettuce.
Oh. What?
There you go.
William Burroughs pissed on the lettuce.
William Burroughs pissed on the lettuce. I'll have to ask my dad if he ate it. I suspect he did not.
Did he serve it? Having pissed on it in broad daylight like that? Fucking, what a dick.
These, ladies and gentlemen, are poets.
These are the poets and the heroes of the 20th century.
Yeah. So, maybe I'll read another one. Do you want to give
right. Wait! Oh, hang on! You've frozen on me again. Bollocks! Hello, Devandi. I love you too. Hi, hello. Adopt me. A lot of you say that, ye strange fish. Adopt me, adopt me. Why do you all need so much adopting? What's going on? Maybe you are. Oh, Ari's left. Right, hang on. God, I don't know how this Instagram thing ever caught on. I find it cumbersome and confusing. Questions. Oh, come here. I didn't realize that there was a whole questions portion to this IGTV. We should do a meditation one of these. That'd be quite nice. I like watching Russell Brand's meditations, ones of these sometimes. They're very beneficial. I don't have favorite things. I don't really have favorite things. I don't have a rank, an inner rank inside me. Like, I can't compare the concept of a book to the concept of another book and go, that concept rubs me up even better than that one. It just doesn't work that way. I don't know. Invite Aidan Gallagher. Aidan might be busy. We did not.
Wow.
Not alert.
My phone was in the sun and it overheated, which is kind of
just
crazy.
Amateur hour, Ari.
Yeah.
You sell these poetry things, and then sometimes you don't show up. You stiff me.
Wait, that's you.
You overheat the stupid phone.
Here. I'll put on my crown to say, I get to decide when I sign on and sign off.
Ari also owns a hat that's made out of a mushroom, which
that's true. I have it right here.
I think is
this was made in Romania. They make these hats. They're called Amadou hats, and it's those hard like discs that grow on the side of trees.
Oh yeah.
And then they cure it into a kind of I would say vegetarian leather, but it's more like a fungitarian leather.
Fungitarian.
Yeah. I was importing these, or I had an attempted little business scheme in between movies where I was going to import mushroom hats. But, you know, I'm going to get my drink, which is in the sunroom. I'll be right back.
Not the world of pragmatists, ladies and gentlemen. It's the world of poets. The man was going to start a business importing mushroom hats. That's who we're dealing with.
Yes.
They make coffins out of mushrooms now. You see that? Someone wrote that. That's amazing.
They make coffins out of mushrooms?
That's a good idea.
Yeah, because then the mushrooms start digesting the person.
Really?
is
As
the correct.
literally the opposite Christian idea, which is preserve the body at all.
Yeah,
Put it in the ground and preserve it at all costs. But that's, you know, I suppose it was the ancient Egyptians and lots of other ones, the Anglo-Saxons.
That's true. It's not just the Christians.
People in history.
So, do you want another poem?
Hit me, baby.
Do you want to choose a subject, or you want me to?
I want you to give us a poem which give us an optimistic look at confinement, Harry, because over here in Toronto, we're about to go back into another confinement.
Really? Wow. Okay.
We're going backwards, not forwards.
Let me.
Midnight tonight.
Optimistic view of confinement. Okay. Okay.
Let's give those Canadian sex bots something to hope for.
I think I know what could be considered an optimistic view. Okay. It's called, if I can find it, The Flying Girl. The Flying Girl is inside of a cage. And this is related to the project that you have helped me with, my future projects that say no more.
Wink, wink.
Okay. So the flying girl, she's in a cage. This little setup there. The world was beautiful until you came in, thinking you had no wing. Be pretty. Be tough. Be pretty tough. Pretty and tough and still thrown in a cage. You kneel in the aviary and put on the lipstick. An ant, as a reference to your carpenter ant, an ant is buried in purple clay. The birds sleep beside you. You smash your reflection and glass rains down on their feathers. It's only me, you say. The caged post pins your robot part. You could stay here in confinement and dream forever. Mud warm against your belly, stench of overcooked cricket burger in the air. But behind the bars of the cage, the cool night air raises a single string from the roof tarp. It rises, falls, rises. That string is freer than you. Breathe and push, push and breathe. So you ball your fists into the mud and push. You fly above the traffic, asking, do these demons chase me or guard me? They are your flock, completing the work of your grandmothers, releasing your flight, rising from broken glass, asking the air to carry you over hard pavement, pavement so hard it can't resist the pushing of a single weed. Beauty is nature's trick to get us to see. It is not hard to fly when we awaken to our gentle power. Is that optimistic enough for you?
Gentle power. Gentle power.
So that is about T, the character who I'm going to say out loud. I'll just say her name is T from the show that I
What's
sent.
it called again?
What's it called? It's called Secrecy.
What the chicken's called again?
Hmm?
It's annoying my brain that I can't remember that.
It's okay. Fuck down.
Fuck down. Here, I'll continue on the Seamus Heaney.
Oh, is this the book that I sent you?
Of a naturalist. Right. There's Mr. Heaney's scribblings himself. Do you know my mate Roger had a
backward
in the Gay Theatre once, back in the good old days. Sure, he died like a few years ago.
Yeah. The inscription is by William Blake. Can you read that? Because it's backwards when you show it, or for me anyway, it was in reverse. It is a beautiful quote.
Which one? Oh, yes. The inscription: the bird a nest, the spider a web, man friendship. With good wishes for juiced. Fair play to you. That's like the I heard a Michael Douglas thing. He says, when you go to a certain territory, you got to look after your voice, you know, which is basically what Seamus was doing here with Juiced, because Juiced is Seamus's voice in Holland.
Had to make sure he was good. When you get dubbed, have you watched yourself dubbed into like German television, for example?
Only until I could get out of the aisle of the cinema and go leave.
It was horrendous.
No,
like,
I've heard a small. Yeah, I've heard like Spanish and Italian and German and stuff. Yeah.
How do you yourself in Spanish? There's a lot of Spanish speakers in your crowd.
I suppose I speak quite quickly in English, but the guy sounds like he's speaking about 900 miles an hour in Spanish.
Yeah.
Like the words are being pronounced very quickly. Mm-hmm. I'm not slagging you off, dude, whoever you are, because you're probably the same dude every time. That's because you develop your whole lifelong.
They'll hire the same actor to dub the same actor, and like the guy who does Tom Cruise in Germany, like is a star because he's always the voice of Tom Cruise.
That's whose voice they hear. It's funny. My friend Julian is an actor, and he used to do Tom Cruise's voice for movie trailers because they were like, they can't get Tom Cruise in to do if they needed any little bits or pieces to link trailers or whatever else. So they just got Julian to do it. So Julian, because he's not from America, he came to Los Angeles and someone gave him the advice that he should pick an actor that he loves and just learn the American accent through learning their voice, kind of thing. Which is, I don't know, troubling advice, but yeah, he chose Tom Cruise.
Yeah. So he doesn't relax well. He's just always intense.
Yeah. He's always sort of grinding his teeth slightly.
Yeah.
Here, what? Let's have a poem from Death of a Naturalist. Right. Oh, that one was on my school syllabus. Let's leave him alone. We don't want that one. Hang on. There. Oh, yeah, here now. Look, listen to it. This one is called Scaffolding. Scaffolding. We all know what scaffolding is. It's that structure going up the side of a building when it needs repairs. Masons, when they start upon a building, are careful to test out the scaffolding. Make sure that planks won't slip at busy points. Secure all ladders, tighten bolted joints. And yet all this comes down when the job's done, showing off walls of sure and solid stone. So if, my dear, there sometimes seem to be old bridges breaking between you and me, never fear. We may let the scaffolds fall, confident that we have built our wall.
Do you have walls in yourself, Mr. Sheehan?
Why is this suddenly tumbled into a psychoanalysis?
Do you have walls within yourself? Do you have walls within yourself that you try to break down with Wine Women's Song?
Do you know what? I was looking at an architect fella earlier that my friend showed me called Tadao Ando, who is I think Japanese man, but he makes these very, very big concrete wall type structures. There's an artist's retreat in Mexico that he built, and it's a vast wall that runs parallel to the coast for about 100 meters that sort of separates public events from private events for this artist's retreat. And then there's kind of entrances way through it and stuff. It's called the Bosco Sodi Retreat. Check that shit out. It's mad looking.
Have you been there, or you just seen pictures of it?
I just saw lots of pictures of it today. And it's quite wally. It's quite sort of...
Where is it again?
These big...
Where?
Concrete wall structures. There's a place in Puerto Escondidos in Mexico.
Okay.
And also, there's a church that he did in Osaka called the Church of Light, where just one wall of it has like that, like opening. Do you know what I mean? Like a cross, but it's like in the wall, obviously, and it's fucking cool. It's really, really beautiful. But again, it's like a real concretey, boxy sort of thing. It's weird. I'm not a big fan of
Go visit it.
concrete jungle style places, but his shit is incredible.
What's his name again?
Tadao Ando, Tadao Ando.
Is that a Filipino name? I'm trying to.
Ando Calrissian.
Oh,
Lando Calrissian, but without the L.
yeah. Okay.
It might be. I'm completely not the right person to ask such affairs. I'm not too sure, to be honest. So have you got? Oh, I've got another poem actually in a minute. Another Irish gem.
Come to it, or you want to tell me to do something?
Well, I was going to say, since I've done a poem, do you want to do a poem next?
Sure. Do you want to pick a subject then, or just have me pick?
Oh, do you know what? On a side note, it's so funny the subgenres that Netflix come up with to arrange, to genreify the material that they make. It's hilarious, isn't it? Like, mind bending is one that you see. Like,
Don't they say about a Academy?
I don't know. I don't think so, but they say it about like midnight gospel, say, because like that, for example, if you had done that on one of their Netflix greenlit shows, that would definitely automatically be a category of mind bending.
Mind bending.
Yeah. It's a docu journey. Ari Gold goes into the mysteries of the universe. No, but if you watch Midnight Gospel, which Midnight Gospel is a show on Netflix, which is very, very, very kooky animation. I believe it's the team who did Adventure Time, and it's all about sort of being shot into a anus in a spacecraft that is in fact a sort of a virtual simulation. Character ending up on different planets and experiencing different things, but really that's just the sort of gimmicky setup to some very interesting conversations between him and people who meditate, for example, or him and his mother, or so it's sort of like a podcast with animation. Giant carpenter ant. But yeah, so it was funny that, you know, they use words like kooky and mind bending when in fact Midnight Gospel is a show about where to live correctly from in yourself, and to realize the mind bends you all day long, you know, and you just think
there's a metaphor.
It's a very telling adjective that Netflix put on it, because it's created by people who I suppose, you know, think all day long for a living. I suppose they have to. They work for Netflix. Right. Sorry, but so we were genreifying. That's what we were doing. What about penguins? Someone said a poem about penguins. I leave it up to you to interpret that way any way you like.
I don't know if I have a poem. I mean, I just did an owl poem. I don't know if I want to. I mean, I have a lot of bird poems. I don't have a penguin poem, which is sad. Can I just take a poem that's about a girl and you can imagine it's a penguin?
All right, but everybody, when you listen
I'll call it The Penguin.
Imagine the girl character dressed as a penguin.
Digital lifestyles. This is about a penguin on the internet.
That's a very...
The poem is The Penguin on the internet.
Go on.
She poses twice again. How many dozens of natural moments, candid moments, has she sorted through to find and choose this one? Caught by surprise, glance in the mirror, half smile, girl child, sexy penguin doll with elf ears.
Penguin into it.
Her favorite photo, a dozen male penguins and 100 unknown others. Her face sliced off at the pouting upper penguin lip. $15 for my natural moments. $15 for my intimacies, and then waiting for a Caesar salad to be delivered from evil from the late night Italian chain at her tall window above the colored lights of the Antarctic for a single moment, digesting the only bite of food she'll eat. She is herself, but doesn't even notice.
Beautiful last line, may I say, Mr. Gold. Is herself, but doesn't even notice.
Yes, that was in response to people on the internet, actually, who, you know, I've lived by the beach here, and, you know, I see beautiful sunsets, I see dolphins. Sometimes I'm surfing next to giant pelicans or sea.
Giant pelicans.
Well, I mean, pelicans, but some of them are.
Some of them are quite intimidating.
But it's just an adjective and then the noun. It's a giant pelican rather than.
Just imagine them like 10 stories high.
And then I see people on the beach spending 30 minutes setting up a shot of themselves. And then as soon as they get that shot, they walk away. And there's never been the moment of like, oh, I'm here. It's there's nature and I'm in it or of it.
I went on holidays to Bali a couple of years back, and I went to this nice temple called Goa Gaja. And I hired this Hindu priest fella to show us around it and give us a bit of history. And there was one bit of it with 7 chakra stone statues. And out of each statue, there was a fountain of water coming out, but at different points up along the body, right? And it was a very lovely thing. And he said, this is about making an oath to yourself. You go in and you be mindful in the body, and you go in and you wash yourself with the water. It's up to your ankles. And you basically set an intention, that type of thing. So later on, we were walking around, and there were lots of Italian and American tourists in the fountain, all with their arms around statues like this, and going, take the photograph, take the photograph, take the fucking photograph, and sort of shouting and roaring. And there wasn't any sort of sense of meaning attached to it. It was entirely decorative for them. They were sort of just getting it on digital archive. I was, at the time I went, what do you think of that then, G'day? I mean, it's annoying, they don't spend 5 minutes, like, investing into what the thing actually means. And he just sort of went, dude, but that's what they do. That's where they are. That's what they do. It's up to you how you want to feel about it.
Well, it's good. We're all stuck in digital lives to some degree, but not a judging thing. There is a sense of like sadness when the person who inspired that poem is someone who doesn't seem to live that well on planet Earth, but it's so impressing other penguins that should be here.
I could hear you better. Every time you talk, you go out for half.
Okay, maybe I'll hold this. I'll hold this. I think it's because it's against the table, cutting off.
Time and time.
Anyway, the person that I know that the penguin poem was inspired by is unable to be in the present because she's always manufacturing an image of herself for other penguins. And
it's a high tax to pay when you're manufacturing an idealized version of yourself digitally.
Well, the price is your life. The price is we're here on the planet for a short amount of time. What?
Yeah, continual present moment. It's sort of all we have. And that's why I was just about to lightly complain again that I just don't know how this Instagram thing caught on, because it just does feel, it's very great that we can talk to each other via the face right now, but we could do that via other software. And
like the mail. Well, actually, or telepathy, right? Because telepathy, there are people who have that skill, and maybe one day there will be a scientific explanation for it.
No, you can quantum entangle two quarks or whatever they are, the smallest molecules in the universe. And then you can put them at either end of the galaxy, quantum entangled, and flick one, stimulate one, and the other will do simultaneously. It's the same thing. They experience like time-space continuum differently to us, but we can observe them doing it. Isn't that strange?
Yeah. So, well, this is how maybe an explanation for how some people can see the future, or some people can hear what other people are thinking, or whatever.
Absolutely, yeah.
And this has been proven over and over again, and whether there's a religious or scientific explanation may ultimately be meaningless. That distinction may be meaningless.
Yeah. So. Alan Watts said a beautiful thing, Ari. He said, when we split the healer into the doctor and the spiritualist, or the clergyman, we impoverished both, because we gave the clergyman authority over the spirit, and we gave the doctor the authority over the body. But really, they are one and the same, and they're obviously, intimately linked and so on. But somehow,
well, this is he was an Anglican, and the Russian Orthodox Church, their argument for why their version of Christianity is superior, and I'm not going to take sides on that, but their argument is that the whole meaning of Sunday and the meaning of Christ was specifically that in his life and resurrection, he unified the bodily world, the so-called profane world, the material world, and the spiritual world. He was proof that both could exist in the same molecule or person. And the Russian, or the Eastern Orthodox version of Christianity, where Sunday is the first day of the week, which we have in this, we have, the whole world sort of has that in the calendars, but the meaning of that is more in the Russian Orthodox, is based on the idea of that's when that first happened, that unity of it. And that's also why Russian Orthodox priests can marry and have families and all that, because of the whole idea is like, no, these things aren't separate. You can be spiritual and you can be body at the same time. So that's not an anti-Western thing, but it's a beautiful thing about the Orthodox tradition. My
friend Mike won't thank me, my neighbor, for telling you all that he wants to have a T-shirt, because he wants to copyright the T-shirt.
Which says what?
That says, "This hologram bleeds."
He better copyright that, because that's going to be mint.
The take off, do you think?
It's going to be big money. Big money.
I'm back over there and telling my Blue is idea all over Instagram now.
It's your turn for a poem, sir. And
also, Rosie Mike's, the truth is that was a pet name my mother called me. Now, this is, and I'm probably, I haven't moved very far from the womb.
Okay, thank you. I got a correction on that, but okay. About the Sunday, anyway, whatever. Well,
yeah.
I stand.
Go on, what's the correction? Go on.
Something about the rest of the restarts with Monday. On Sunday, okay. No, rest. What I got, well, whoever's writing this, I read a book by an Orthodox priest who specifically talked about the day, or what's called the day of rest here, not being rest, but actually unification, and the idea of rest being something that Western Europe imposed on the idea of this spiritual and temporal unification. And this was from a priest. It was a book by a priest that I read.
That's interesting, though, as you think of the day of rest, which gives you an industrialization feeling, because
exactly
rest, Monday, work.
Yeah, it's not about rest, it's about unification, which is, to me, a quite beautiful notion. I'm eating cereal. Someone's eating cereal on the cereal pan. Okay.
Stop it! Okay, no, don't stop it.
My first movie has a lot of cereal in it. There's a whole cereal subplot to Adventures of Power.
Movie, The Song of Sway Lake?
No, the first movie, the one that you're not in, Adventures of Power, my character is obsessed with cereal.
I was guzzling cereal. It made me sick to watch it.
Yeah. All right, you got a poem for us.
By Mr. William Butler Yeats, another Irish fellow. And this poem, it's about the magic, mystic history of Ireland. the invisible history. It's called The Host of the Air. O'Driscoll drove with a song the wild duck and the drake from the tall and the tufted reeds of the drear Heart Lake. And he saw how the reeds grew dark at the coming of night tide, and dreamed of the long dim hair of Bridget, his bride. He heard while he sang and dreamed a piper piping away, and never was piping so sad, and never was piping so gay. And he saw young men and young girls who danced on a level place, and Bridget, his bride, among them, with a sad and a gay face. The dancers crowded about him, and many a sweet thing said, and a young man brought him red wine, and a young girl white bread. But Bridget drew him by the sleeve away from the merry bands to old men playing at cards with a twinkling of ancient hands. The bread and the wine had a doom, for these were the host of the air. He sat and played in a dream of her long, dim hair. He played with the merry old men and thought not of evil chance, until one bore Bridget, his bride, away from the merry dance. He bore her away in his arms, the handsomest young man there, and his neck and his breast and his arms were drowned in her long, dim hair. O'Driscoll scattered the cards, and out of his dream awoke. Old men and young girls were gone like a drifting smoke. But he heard high up in the air a piper piping away, and never was piping so sad, and never was piping so gay. What a fucking poem. Excuse my language, all you.
Yeah. You know, the first poem I ever memorized was a Yeats poem. Short one.
Is it the love one?
Is it what?
Is it the love one, you old charmer, you romantic?
Well, he's got a lot of love. It's A Deep Sworn Vow. You must know that one, right?
Is that the Had I the Heavens Embroidered Cloth? No.
No. Others, because you did not keep that deep sworn vow,
Go on,
have been others, because you did not keep that deep sworn vow, have been friends of mine. Yet always when I look death in the face, when I clamber to the heights of sleep, or when I grow excited with wine, suddenly I meet your face. So I was so in love with this girl that I took that poem and I took every word of the poem and made it the first line of a letter. So it would be secretly embedded into the letter. And then I wrote this long letter with all those words as a vertical.
That's so you.
Didn't work. I don't think she knew. I don't think she saw the poem. She would have had to turn the paper to the side. But anyway.
Just reminded me of a film called Under the Silver Lake. Surely you've seen that film, Under the Silver Lake, have you?
I think you told me about this a few weeks ago, and I need to see it because it's in the neighborhood I used to live in, that you've stayed in my house.
Well, me and you used to go out on those swan, what are they called? The little push fellas in the pond.
Oh, that's in Echo Park, the next neighborhood over.
Yeah, we all around Silver Lake in Echo Park. It's and it's also a guy sort of discovering messages, like where he shouldn't discover them. He's sort of reading into signs.
Secret messages.
Yeah. And I think you would really buzz off it, because you make secret messages.
It's true. It's true. Swans. I'm just seeing people. There's so much Spanish here.
Yes. Hola, españolos y españolas. Mi español.
Es perfecto.
Es patético.
Tu español es patético.
Ahora. No, I'm
Tenemos problemas de comunicar con la gente.
No lo sé, es un problema. Sí.
Why did we both become very nasal when we speak Spanish?
It's sort of clownish. And
well, although, you know, I listen to like Manu Chao.
Yes, I will save the life.
Oh, I like Manu Chao, but it's interesting when he speaks Spanish, you know, fluently, as his parents were Spanish and he grew up in France, I guess. When he sings in French, he sings very in French. And when he switches to Spanish, he's suddenly he goes to
Well,
his notes.
the language is the last bit of it to happen, isn't it? You know, the words are the kind of the last member of a baton relay team. Because like that's why again, like Twitter and stuff frustrates me because you get like someone makes a really haphazard comment this big out of the words, and you sort of go. But that's like the tip of the iceberg of the wholeness of the communication that you're.
Yeah.
I'm not excusing everything on Twitter, of course not, but I don't know. I think people get wound up needlessly a lot because they're only getting a portion of the communication.
Mm-hmm.
Communicate.
Do you tweet much?
No.
Once in a while, you give some shout out to the planet, our planet. What?
Oh, yeah, I just gone about hippie climate change stuff. Oh, here's a lovely thing. I have a neighbour here, this lovely man, Carton. And he's a gorgeous Jamaican fella and a master fucking grower. This guy can grow like every year, starting from about now. His front garden, which is quite small in here, but the back garden's really, really big. And every square inch is covered in vegetables and plants and trees. Everything, everywhere. And so today I was walking back with a friend of mine. And he goes, yeah, come here. And he went off and got a big canvas bag full of seeds and gave me a ton of different, like, melons and zucchinis and heirloom tomatoes. And I've got.
And they're, so these are winter vegetables that are ready now. Yeah.
Well, no, he was saying put them down and they'll come up by end of July.
Planting them now.
Yeah, planting them.
I don't know anything about when those things would be harvested, but
I'm hoping to parasite off Carton and learn a few bits because I've got a little yard this year. I'm very happy to say.
It's nice.
Making umbrella.
Yeah, if I manage to come this summer, I will see the garden in action.
Please do. I'd love to see you in person and get you in a headlock. It would be a great joy. Because also there's a yard. It's a lovely bit of secluded. And I'll have a nice little fire pit and there's a little porch and it's just a little slice of heaven. You know, you don't need space. You just need the right small space, I think, to be.
Yeah, indeed.
And you know, there's a lot of people, God bless, who don't get outside space at all, which is that for me anyway. That would be a bit needly, I think. But you know, that's just me.
So. It's your turn, I think, for a poem because I read the Yeats after you read the Yeats.
Oh yeah. I've got come here on the what's his name? James H. Cousins. This is High and Low. Oh Christ! What's the name of that poem?
The Chickens of Heaven. I lost you.
I'm back with the. Yeah, I went into my Signal channel. This is a big
poem
called High and Low by the Irish poet James H. Cousins, who was alive from 1873 to 1956. Jesus, was he? Oh, he was about 85, 90. Anyway, it goes like this. He stumbled home from Clifton Fair with drunken song and cheeks aglow. Yet there was something in his air that told of long ago. I sighed and inly cried with grief that one so high should fall so low. But he snatched a flower and sniffed its scent and waved it toward the sunset sky. Some old sweet rapture through him went and kindled in his bloodshot eye. I turned and inly burned with joy that one so low should rise so high.